Welcome to the UDP Broadcast, a podcast where a group... You know what? I need to change that up. Hold on. No. Hear me out. Let me pitch this. I've been saying this for 3 years now, right? You know, without messing it up. So how about this? Welcome to the UDP Broadcast, an opinion show where a group of friends get together and talk about gaming-related topics and offer both informed and uninformed opinions. I'm your host, Luminary, and I'm accompanied today by my co-host, the Nordic Cajun.
Tired.
The Eternal Barcode and the Master of the Slappening, Imee.
Don't slap the bad man. Don't protect the little ones.
And from the Emerald Dream, Raina, the Crit Chicken.
Don't have rock.
Oh my goodness! I cannot believe that Patrick Stump is going to play Abel in Has-Been Hotel.
We're going to talk about that here in a second. Hold on, before we get to that.
Got my attention all of a sudden. Hello.
10% of...
Sorry.
10% of all of our revenue across all of the streams that I have control of goes to the Trevor project, and Ping has more information on that. I'll go ahead and activate that for you, Imee, so that we don't have to.
I just did it.
Okay, that's cool.
The Trevor Project is the leading organization working to end LGBTQ youth suicide in the US and beyond. The non-profit operates several programs to help prevent and respond to the public health crisis of LGBTQ youth suicide, including 24/7 free crisis services, research, advocacy, education, and peer support.
Thank you, Ping. And as I stated before, we are an opinion show. We have opinions just like you do, both informed and uninformed. In other words, we're poor. Don't sue us.
And if I want your opinion, I'll give it to you.
Imee brought it up that we are at 36 months, at least from him subscribing to this channel and having his bouncing barcode all over Twitch, which has been fantastic. This is a good shot to start talking about some of the other stuff going on. I know that we have some really hot button topics, and I'd like to start with Crit. But before she gets into the Vshojo stuff, I really want to hear about this Has-Been Hotel.
Oh yeah, so
that came out of left field.
You know Fall Out Boy, right?
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So the one and only Patrick Stump is going to be playing Abel. Yay!
Oh, wow. That's going to be interesting. I like that.
He has a musical cameo in the show. Sorry, I love Fall Out Boy. I don't know if you could tell.
No, not at all.
You can hear her just jumping up and down for joy right now. Yay!
When she found out, she almost exploded with happy.
Yeah, as soon as I found out, I listened to Church, which is one of their songs, and I love that song, but I cannot sing it because it would be copyright strike, and I do not want that. And I love Fall Out Boy too much to actually do that to them. So go listen to some Fall Out Boy before you watch Has-Been Hotel, which is going to be airing on Prime Video October 29th.
Oh, very nice. I'm actually going to have to catch up on that.
Not sponsored, but I wish we were.
Yeah, hashtag heavy interest. There we go. I need to catch up on that as well, so I might throw that into my rotation of
such a
anime
good
spam.
Freaking show.
Yes, go support.
I've watched that last episode. Like I have watched that last episode at least a dozen times more than I should have. Just because it's fantastic. It's a great show.
I'm gonna put it in the chat, in our chat, and I want you to see the video.
I think it's cool, just on that same note, that they had announced, I forgot at which convention, that they're actually bringing Helluva Boss to Prime as well.
Yes.
You can watch Helluva Boss on Prime.
Isn't that the same creative team? Isn't that the same creative team?
But it is, but the difference is they get to keep everybody who's on the show instead of things changing like they kind of did for Has-Been Hotel. It's gonna be the same cast, same crew, same everything. It's gonna show up on Prime. I don't know why we're just suddenly doing advertising for these people, but here we are. They're gonna show it on Prime first, and then like a week or two later, it'll show up on YouTube for you to watch there as well. If the people who can wait that long.
Hey, good content
But
is good
they're
content.
little.
So,
I posted it.
Yeah.
Posted.
The way they
Sorry,
did the whole like crossover promotion was adorable, and I loved every second of it.
very nice.
So, yeah, I'm a big fan. Big fan. Can't wait.
Awesome. Before we go any further, tell us what we're looking at in the gameplay section here.
We are killing tentacles. It's the tentacle part of the game. Because now we have to kill the rot. And the rot has to die.
So what
You,
game?
uh,
What
kill the
game
rot
is
by it.
this?
This is Darktide.
Okay.
They just released new DLC for the Arbitrates class, which is basically Judge Shred, but Warhammer 40k style. I'm currently playing an Ogren. Thunk slap little things? Oh, Thunk Bash. Never mind. Thunk Bash. My character's name is Thunk, because he has big thinks. But his alternate fire is Slap. And it is just the meatiest sound ever.
If you missed the pre-show, I'll have that up on the YouTube channel so you can hear the juicy slaps that are happening.
It's so ridiculous. I love it.
The slappening.
It is, yes. We have more important things to talk about. And Raina's going to, I believe, kick us off.
Yeah, I believe it starts with a V and ends with a Vshojo.
V canceled. V
Oh.
shut down.
Yeah.
Here, give us a synopsis, and we'll talk about this because this kind of showed up in my feed here and there, and I never really looked into it, but I did read the articles. So let's hear what you got.
Short synopsis, because I really don't give a damn about Vshojo to begin with. I care about the creators like Ironmouse and the rest of them, even though I don't really know too much about the community. You know, there's been a lot of drama, but most of it stems from the person that runs the show. I forget what his name is. Gun something, whatever. Don't care. Loser. But he ended up pocketing millions of dollars. Didn't pay his people, the VTubers. Ironmouse rallied to get like $500,000 towards like an what is it? What is it? Autoimmune. Uh, sorry, I'm having one of those moments where I can't find anything.
Autoimmune disease?
Now, I got you covered. Hold on. I've got it up here somewhere. Gabe Newell.
Immune
Nope.
Deficiency Foundation. So
Yeah,
that
that's
was
it.
it. So they ended up, he was like, "Oh, I don't know what you're talking about. I didn't know that it was for charity." Even though he went to like the charity events, with retweeted people that were promoting the charity, with the subathon and all the other stuff. It was one of the most popular things. Like, "Oh, how did all this money get here?" And then, and then he's like, "Oh, we're sorry." Like that the South Park episode. We're sorry. We're sorry. We're just gonna shut down. We're sorry. Like, okay, well, what about the money? Oh, we don't have it. IRS, knock, knock, knock. Where are you? Actually, should I read out the statement that Vshojo just sent out?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's hear it.
So it says, Vshojo has failed, and I mismanaged the company into the situation you're all witnessing. So today I'm sharing the difficult news that Vshojo is shutting down, and I take full responsibility for the decisions that led to us to this point. I've been doing everything I can to fundraise and right the ship these past few months, but despite my efforts, we are in a worse position, and those I care about are now paying the price. Over the past few years, we raised about $11 million to pursue a bold talent first approach in VTubing, prioritizing creators and community over short-term profits to achieve long-term sustainability. Our funding went directly to our creators, right? Through generous splits, right? Debut investments, infrastructures, concert events, and staffing, all designed to support them. We all wanted talent. We also wanted talent to our own their. We also wanted talent to own their IP, which we knew was a unique creative first approach for an agency. However, despite all our efforts, the business failed to generate the revenue we needed to sustain that model, and eventually we ran out of money. How do you run out of $11 million? Anyway, additionally, I acknowledge that some of the money spent by the company was raised in connection with talent activity, which I later learned was intended for a charitable initiative. You knew about this. It was retweeted. You freaking went to the events for it, my brother. Anyway, at the time, we were working hard to raise additional investment capital to cover our costs, and I firmly believed, based on information available to us, that we would be able to do so and cover all expenses. We were unsuccessful in fundraising our efforts. I made the decision to pursue funding, and I own its consequences. I am deeply sorry to all the talent, staff, friends, and community members who believed in our brand. You did not deserve this. Justin Gunrun. Anyway, he didn't pay a lot of their talents. There was no split. There was, $500,000 unaccounted for. Um, Definitely. Where's that money? Oh, is it for car wraps? Is it for expensive cars, my brother? Uh,
My
what are
dude.
you doing? You traveling all over with, and then also throwing other VTubers under the, under the, you're all for the creators, right? But you're quick to, throw them under the bus and, point fingers at them and, pit other VTubers against each other. It's not about them at the end of the day. It's about you dirty little scumbag. Sorry.
Never apologize for that.
And mic drop.
Indeed.
She went for the jugular, and I'm all here for it. That was awesome.
Yeah, we kind of touched on the bullshit a little bit earlier in the pre-show, and I'm sitting there thinking this is just straight misappropriation of funds. They knew what they were doing.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
Oh,
so you can, depending on how long they've been operating, $11 million goes by pretty quickly, depending on what you're doing with it. If you're hosting events, depending on the size, even a small event with high profile people can run you $1 million, even if there's only a venue for 30,000 people. It can still be very expensive to run events.
I have a question.
So I really want to see what their books looked like in terms of revenue that was generated, revenue that was revenue that was spent, and just exactly where they were spending their money.
I have a
Because
question.
yes,
How long do you think a jail sentence would be for racketeering in the amount of $11 million?
that sounds like a RICO Act issue, and I don't know anything about those other than it's a cool name.
Racketeer Influence and Corrupt Organizations Act.
Yeah, RICO. I don't know. I don't know enough about U.S. law.
yeah, neither
To me,
does
that
most of
sounds
the
like they would
US.
be
It's a form of
in.
organized crime where individuals or groups repeatedly engage in illegal activities to obtain money or property, often through threats, violence, or fraud.
Yeah.
I
Well,
don't know.
it's funny they got Al
AKA money
Capone on
laundering.
racketeering charges instead of actual murder and drug charges.
Yeah, at this particular point, it all feels
True.
like a crypto bro rug pull scam. Honestly, it's like money and
Yeah.
it's gone.
I would agree with that.
Just remember, a gun run is not no Diddy.
On the positive side of that, didn't she raise the money again? Like her fans came together and they brought money together to raise that $500,000 again after the fact.
Oh, they
Or did I
went
read that wrong?
above and beyond that. I mean, it's directly going towards the organization. Hold on. I think it's over $1 million right now. Over, like, the last time I checked, it was like
Really?
1,200,000 from last time I
Oof.
checked. But let me triple check it just to make sure. I
This
mean, granted,
I'm gonna I'm gonna say a phrase that you normally has bad connotations, but in this situation it has the best connotations. Don't fuck with the mouse.
oh yeah, you never fuck with the mouse, especially, one that's named after a villain in Sailor Moon, Iron Mouse.
I had no
Yup.
idea.
Yep, yep,
I'm
yep,
not that
yep,
much
yep.
of a nerd.
Listen, I appreciate the name.
Listen, Linda.
I just learned something tonight. I didn't realize that's what they're named after. I'm like, okay, I know about
I don't
their.
know for sure. I just kind of thought that it was, so I'm assuming that,
I know
Shoujo.
following Ironmouse, not necessarily like watching their content or anything like that. I know that some of the clips and shorts that I've seen, where she's explained like, yeah, no, I mean, this has enabled me to get better equipment. I can now dampen out like the medical noises that I have going on in the background and things like that, which I thought was. There's been a journey there, and I'd really like to hear more about that journey. I'm sure there's something somewhere. Some person has probably made a documentary on that, but right now, as it stands, I have a feeling the internet sleuths that are loyal to Ironmouse and other VTubers like Zentrea and the others probably going to have a field day pulling up their finances. You saw what happened with what was that last big one that that they just ripped everything apart. I'm trying to remember what it is.
If you want the numbers right now, as it stands right now, it's at $1,299,231.
Mm.
Yum.
Good job, Mousy. Good job. And also
I'm
anonymous.
screaming. Heck yeah.
Yeah, and an anonymous donor.
Absolutely.
Anonymous donor actually donated $23,000 alone.
Damn.
Shoo.
I wish I had pocket change of
That's
23
amazing.
grand.
And not even
Jesus.
I'm
to list
saying.
who they are. Like, not even to list who they are. They're like, I don't want no fame. Just here, take my money.
It sounds like something I would do.
Yeah.
Would be like, oh, sorry, my keyboard had a stutter. Well, I guess you
Yep.
get to keep it.
Yep.
God damn it, I'm gonna have hiccups the rest of the show.
Oh, it's fine.
They hurt though,
The
that's the
slapping has
problem.
brought the hiccuping.
Yeah, so what's your takes on it?
Some kick up.
Well, my take on it personally is that this is just classic, not necessarily bait and switch. It's more along the lines of misleading your employees and then being like, yeah, no, we're not doing any of that. We don't have any money. Womp womp. And there's going to be a huge amount of fallout. I would pay attention to Twitter and all of your major news source channels that you go through, Moist Critical, Asmongold, whoever. Tectone.
Nux, Otaku, yeah.
Yeah, like keep your eyes out on that one because this should end in hilarity and justice, at least as far as like the court of public opinion. Cajun?
Well,
Can you believe they only had one male
The tar and
VTuber?
feathering. That is kind of odd.
they only had 1 million what, sorry?
They only had one male VTuber.
One dude. Huh. Interesting.
One fella.
One fella.
But no, it's I think Lemmy said it pretty much, like the bait and switch and all that good stuff. It's a terrible situation for all that talent involved. I mean, the premise of the company seemed like the whole too good to be true situation, and sadly enough, it turned out to be that way. Because this is just showing more and more that actual freaking hold that thought, $15 donated from Finry. What's that?
What? Aw, thanks.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Awesome. Thank you for supporting the Trevor Project. That's awesome, Fennis Wolf. Thank you so much.
Yes. Big time plays.
Love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but just from what I've heard, a lot of this kind of stuff goes down a lot with these V2, like, what's the word for them? V2, what's that word? I can't think of the word.
Talent agencies, I think, is what you're looking for.
Agencies. There you go. Yeah, many of these agencies are terrible to their talent, especially the fact that they don't even get to keep their IP when they join the agency. Like a lot of these VTubers have to start from scratch if they ever, with the terms, graduate from their agency. You have to start over. That little shark VTuber had to do that. She had to get rid of her entire thing and start from scratch because they left their agency. And it happens all the time. It's terrible. And then you had this one company come up and say, hey, we're going to let you keep your stuff. No problem. But then we're not going to pay you. We're going to vanish like a fart in the wind. So that's what I see it as. Like they're just, they offered something that all VTubers wanted and then took full advantage of it. It was absolute trash. So I think the best way to say it is, have the day you deserve, because it's about to go down.
Yeah, if you really think about it, these VTuber organizations is the next evolution of the MCN or multi-channel network. Like,
oh God, yeah.
Yeah, anybody who's been working with YouTube for at least 10 years understands what the heck that means. Because I think the big thing was like trying to get into the one that was that Total Biscuit was in, because you get that sweet Total Biscuit share, right?
Oh, Polaris, and then they fucked up hard.
Yeah, and
Polaris was owned by Disney, and when that idiot, that what the fuck movie was the Wolf Among Us or something? I don't know. It was some really really shitty game where he was clipping through everything, and he was trying to talk to an NPC, and the NPC didn't even look at him, or
Oh
not
yeah.
talk to him. He was trying to steal something from the NPC. He stood up right in front of the NPC, and the NPC didn't react. And so he critiqued the game appropriately that it was a bag of hammers, and the guy tried to sue, and it's like, Polaris is owned by Disney. Guess whose lawyers I have?
Good luck with that.
Yeah. Guess how much more money for lawyers we have than you?
Yep.
Yeah, don't mess with the mouse.
Any of the mouse.
Yup.
Just stay away from mice. Mice are your friends.
Yep.
Kind of.
Kind of.
Some mice.
Actually,
The only mouse that can get in trouble is Chuck E. Cheese. That's only because one of them got arrested.
Oh man, seeing Chuck E. Cheese in handcuffs is one of the funniest things I've seen all year.
Credit card fraud. Oops.
Yeah.
Oops. It's a running theme. Money, huh? Go figure.
Weird.
Greed. Greed is going to be your downfall. Huh?
Crazy how that works.
Yeah. All right.
Sorry.
I mean, do you want to give your official opinion on this? I think you pretty much gave it.
So I was gonna say, like I said earlier, you can burn $11 million pretty quickly. What that tends to tell me is they had someone who thought they were in charge, but nobody with the experience to run the show. Like, you want to be CEO, great. That's fantastic, fine, whatever. You have to surround yourself with people who understand and have a proven track record of running business. Because as a content creator, if you're trying to start up a company, you're great working for yourself. You know yourself, you work for yourself. It's when you start adding more and more people in with differing opinions and different ways of doing things, that's where you run into problems. And if you don't have the right people to challenge you when appropriate on a decision, you're just going to have yes people who will sink your company. Oh, why do we need to spend $15 million on this thing? Oh, I don't know. It sounds like a good idea. Okay, I'm not going to stand up to you. Let's spend $15 million out of the $20 million we have available to us. Like, Pizza Friday is not worth $15 million.
Amy.
Yes, my dear.
They had a CEO, a CTO, a COO, a CMO, but no CFO.
Well, that's the thing I'm saying. Proven track record.
Yeah.
They need to GTFO.
Because you can have all those acronyms, but if they're not people who have a proven track record in those positions, you're setting yourself up for some problems.
There was no financial officer.
So you don't necessarily need a financial officer, like a chief financial officer. You just need people who understand finance and understand budgeting and who have the authority to tell the CEO, screw you, we don't have that kind of money. We can't spend this. Because that's the other problem, is people forget that authority only matters when people disagree. That's literally when authority matters. Otherwise, it has no bearing on anything. But if you're not willing as the CEO to take someone else's opinion or advice and actually use it, then you're setting yourself up for failure, because you're just going to have everyone say yes to you every step of the way. And then you're going to wonder why, you ran out of $11 million.
And not put it towards paying your, like, I think even one talent actually went without getting paid since September.
Yeah, and that's ridiculous. That I would have been looking to sue for lost wages right away.
Especially since they were held under NDA and stuff like that.
Yeah, and oh my God, I hate NDAs. You should not be using an NDA for a talent agency or anything. You don't have corporate secrets. You want corporate secrets to protect? Go work for an airline company. Like, not an airline, sorry, an air manufacturing company like Boeing or Northrop Grumman or Airbus or, Microsoft, whatever. They have secrets to protect. A talent agency, ensuring people are booked and ensuring people are getting marketed the proper way to get the most amount of exposure. I fail to see how you need an NDA other than you're trying to hide and cover up misconduct.
In fact,
Because the only
no.
time I see that shit.
Well, it's like fun fact, you know how this guy freaking blows through $11 million? Think about
Yeah.
Boeing. Boeing's like, hey, you want to work for us? How do you feel about us putting your family through college, all paid for? Oh, you need housing? Oh, we can pay the rent for that as long as you work here.
Yeah, and Boeing's a little bit of a different company because you want to protect how you design your airplanes. I mean, right now you probably want to tell everybody so everyone else can open source fix it. But in general, you want to protect how you design an aircraft because you don't you don't want knockoffs. B, you want to ensure that whatever cool stuff you put into it is yours and yours alone. And you don't want your competitors having an edge over you. So a non-disclosure agreement makes sense in those regards when you're trying to protect company secrets. But you're a goddamn talent agency. Other than misconduct, what are you trying to protect? What are you trying to hide? Don't give me that. Oh, we need to have an NDA. You do not need an NDA. You're a talent agency. Talent agencies are as plentiful as McDonald's.
I think
McDonald's doesn't have an NDA.
they really need to redo the whole VTuber stuff with the IPs and stuff like that, especially
Yes.
what happened with Gura. You know, she had to change her character all over again because of I don't know what the story was behind her, but it was like everybody got sad because she had to redo everything all over again. And it's just like, can you just
Yeah.
stop being mean to like the VTubers? Can you please
Well,
stop?
it's quote unquote easy prey, right? Because you can look at them and be like, you want my services, I will take what I want from you, and you can't stop me. And that is the worst company mentality ever. If you want to attract customers to you, the first thing you should be promoting, you don't sign an NDA, you keep all of your IP. All we do is we take a percentage of your revenue so we can market the hell out of you. That's how you do that shit properly.
Also, I mean, before any of this happened, did you know uh who Vshojo was before? Like,
Absolutely not.
and then I just kind of like shoved it right in your face. You're like, I don't know what's going on. Like it's all right. Just know this guy bad, this person good. Look, they raised money for charity. Yay.
Yeah.
Yes, this bad right here. We don't like this one.
On the note of bad, Cajun, let's talk about Pokemon.
Do we have to? Because I actually have a bad taste in my mouth with these guys right now. Oh my gosh.
Wait. Is it
Like,
outside of what happened on Patrol Live last night where we had
Oh,
what is it? Be on the lookout for
30,000.
yeah,
Yeah,
what
30,000
happened?
Pokemon
$30,000.
cards were stolen.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's ooh, that
The
gets
Yeah,
my blood boiling. It's not even my
the
cold.
worst
in
part,
Florida.
the worst part is the dude who stole all of it left 100 grand in Magic the Gathering cards untouched.
Oh, no.
30,000 worth of Pokemon, but left 100 grand of Magic the Gathering.
He had a few
That's because people
Charizard
don't
cards.
understand. They just don't
A few Charizard
understand.
cards and then the yellow cheek Pikachu thing. Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, dang. The rare
You'd
ones.
like
Damn.
yeah, you'd like get last night's episode, especially since Louisiana's back.
Oh, we're back. Yay!
Yay,
We're
bad
back in it.
news.
But bad news. But on the subject of what went down with fucking Pokemon, twice a year they have a chance to actually make their fans excited for what they're doing. They have the big one, the big Pokemon Day in February, and then they have their Pokemon Direct midsummer to get you really excited. Usually when they show, like last go around, I think that's when they announced the whole Shining Pearl and Brilliant Diamond before, with coming out around the same time as all the other games. It was a big brouhaha, and everybody expects huge announcements to happen during this time frame. When I tell you, it looks like they got that shit together the day before they hit the play button and just had 24 hours to throw that shit together. That's what it looked like. It was absolutely horrendous. Then there was really nothing of value really shown. They announced some things for Pokemon Sleep, because who still plays that game? They announced some things for Pokemon Unite, because sure. They started harping on their new battling game, that like Pokemon Conqueror or something like that's coming out like next year or something like that, which that was cool, sure. And then they announced Pokemon Puzzle, which is this $10 game where you can literally just go play puzzle games with Pokemon themes. I'm like, no, I can think of 100,000 other things I could spend $10 on, and that ain't it. And I think the icing on the cake was the only thing they really showed for their new game, Legends Z-A, was Dragonite was getting a Mega Evolution. Which, to be fair, as a Dragonite fan, cool. Appreciate you. But when I tell you, I just am not excited about this new game. And that's coming from a diehard Pokemon fan of decades.
As
Like,
someone who has partnered with Cajun on his Pokemon adventures, I can tell you right now, there is no one more Pokemon than Cajun when it comes to Pokemon.
And the fact that I just
What was
like
that, Crit?
Cajun, can you agree that Mega
Huh.
Ampharos looks better than Mega Dragonite?
Oh, absolutely. By
Yeah.
far. I appreciate the nod towards Dragonair that they're trying to do with the Mega. But that ship done sail. Y'all screwed that pooch way back in Generation 1. There's no fixing the Derpy Dragon. Sorry. It's not going to happen. Looks cool. I'm kind of interested in knowing what color the shiny's going to be. But the more time goes on and the more things happen with Nintendo, I just get less and less excited about their IP. And
You
it's
mean
starting to
Nintendo?
rub off on... Yeah, them. And it just... I'm not excited about this game at all. And it sucks because I love Pokemon.
You know,
But
it could have been a lot better
maybe
if they weren't
things...
spending all of
maybe
their money on, fighting patents with Palworld. I mean,
Yeah.
which when I saw Imi tag me and I saw it a couple of days late, they're actually losing that battle tremendously now, and it's actually
Yes.
backfiring in a lot of ways.
Like with the
So
Yes.
gliders?
I've been playing, yeah, like I've been playing Palworld almost nonstop the past few weeks, just because it's so much damn fun. It's a fun ass game. It is, and I'm not ashamed to admit it. It's a fun ass game, and Nintendo had many chances to innovate over the years. Had many chances. It came drastically close to the point where it's still my favorite game right now, with Legends Arceus. Still my favorite Pokemon game in recent years because of how different the playstyle is and how you play that game. And for some odd reason, they just don't understand that that's what the people want. They want that kind of live action, in your face, realistic. I hate to say realistic because it's not, but like action packed catching styles. And when you have games like Palworld coming out, the new Nemo game coming out, I saw a bunch of the Pokemon content creators playing that game, and it looks fantastic. Now, there's just so many other options that do what Pokemon does, but better. I just feel like they're starting to really fall behind keeping people's attention. Other than scalpers taking all the Pokemon cards. But yeah, maybe my feelings will change when the game gets closer in October. But as of right now, meh. Like they're just not impressing me at all. And I know that sounds like harumph, like neckbeard fanboy talk, but
Well, you also have
I
to
don't know.
see how it's going downhill too with Nintendo by them selling a Lego set of a Game Boy for like
Oh my
$60. Oh
gosh.
boy.
I
And
need to
then of
step away for a
course,
second because I've got to do a parenting. I'll be right back.
All
no
right.
problem.
Go
And then of
throw
course,
them
Yeah.
out the window.
there's did you hear the news about Mario and Peach?
Are just good
No?
friends? Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
What?
we're we're gonna ignore the whole Luigi, Daisy, Rosalina, Peach polycule, but we're gonna say Mario and Peach are just friends. That's hilarious.
I'm just gonna
But
say
to be fair,
Bowser. Bowser and Peach are
I
together.
think so too.
Peaches, peaches,
I
peaches,
think I agree. I have always thought that was the headcanon, and Mario was the guy
trying to
just
steal the
shows up
girlfriend.
and ruins everything. Yep. I think that's what I 100% felt like. I mean, especially if you read the old instruction booklets, it sounds like that's kind of what's going down. But to me, like the biggest wrench in the gears kind of situation with that whole Peach and Mario thing, Matt Pat had a great theory about it. That Peach and Luigi are an item.
Well, why would
Eh,
a princess ever be with a plumber?
She likes to
Well,
get her pipes cleaned.
hey,
I'm gonna
I
have
feel
to have
dirty for
lay
saying
that
that,
pipe.
but there we
Gonna
go.
lay that pipe.
I'm gonna have to have Daisy weigh in on this. I don't think freaking Bowser would appreciate that very much. And also the fact that Luigi never freaking saved her from any castles, right? To my knowledge.
No, at all. But the only the reason why he had the whole theory about Luigi and Peach being a thing was I forgot which game had like a whole backstory. I think it was Mario Galaxy. Rosalina was telling a story about her memories growing up, and all the puzzle pieces fit together of her dad actually being Luigi and
Huh.
Peach being her mom.
Huh.
It's a crazy theory. If you ever get a few minutes, go look up Rosalina Luigi game theory, and it's a rabbit hole that I didn't know I loved and I needed to go search, but it brings up a lot of like,
Could you
that
imagine if it
makes
was
more sense
Bowsette
than
and Luigi?
I'd ship that. No,
Marriage. Drink
it would
beef.
it would be Bouette and Luigi, considering all of his
Oh yeah, the haunted
mansion games.
mansion stuff. Yeah.
Uh-huh. That would be
The
that one.
only the only pipes he wants to clean are the haunted ones. But
Heyo.
That's it. That's it. Oh,
sorry.
this certainly took a turn, and I'm here for it.
So
Blame
unfortunately,
blame
Lou
Oh,
stepped
Nintendo.
away,
yeah, that's fine.
and
I can throw something else out there.
well,
We had a bunch of
so what I was
different
going to do is
passing
I was going
away.
to go over something
Oh,
that we went over 2 weeks ago, which was how on
okay.
earth do you lose your access to your copyright over time if you let the community play with it. So when he gets back, I'm going to step into that just briefly because I finally have a much better analogy of how you lose the ability to enforce your copyrights and your intellectual property rights over time if you don't enforce them all the time.
I've
So when
returned,
he
by the
gets
way.
back, I'll go over that very
Hmm.
briefly because I
Yay.
finally got the analogy, which ties into that whole SKG thing of, oh, we don't want the IP. It's like, well, you don't want it, but you're going to open it up anyways
Oh,
for various
Vshojo?
reasons, which I'll discuss
V
soon.
v
Trademark.
Vsho Vshojo though? Because, because the company shut down, now people can have their characters.
Um, so that's gonna be a tricky thing because they might still be property of Vshojo, even if the company doesn't exist. Because a lot of the time when you sign over those rights, you're signing them over forever. It's usually a non-transferable, non-revocable, in perpetuity license
Did they
that
break
you
the terms
give.
of their agreements?
Uh, so as long as the company itself exists, even on paper, those rights are still held by the company, or the IP is held by the company. If the company files for Chapter 11,
Yep.
or it's usually what they end up filing for, you could, as a whole bunch of lawyers, suggest that getting access to the individual intellectual properties and returning them to their original creators would be acceptable in lieu of payment for any missed wages, especially for that one person who wasn't paid for months. Um, but you would actually have to make a claim for it in a Chapter 11 filing or any sort of bankruptcy filing. So I know you guys have like at least 11 chapters. I don't know how all the rest of them work. I just know from seeing it in the news like everybody else that a Chapter 11 filing means you're basically selling off all the assets of the company. So it would really depend, and that's definitely a copyright / IP lawyer question or bankruptcy lawyer question that I definitely am underqualified to answer.
Yeah, I was about to say that. We are not lawyers, nor are we familiar with the law, just the effects of what happens in the public space. So,
I'm familiar with law. I'm just not a lawyer
Yeah.
because I have to read legislation and tell people they're being dumb.
Yeah, and that's the other side
part
of
of my
this too.
favorite
We
job.
don't know what kind of contracts those individuals sign for their VTuber contracts.
Exactly.
So it's all speculative. It's just like, this is what could happen if it was set up this way.
Oh, 100%. Well, one thing I was going to touch on very quickly is 2 weeks ago we were talking about copyright, and I was confusing you on how if you own the copyright to something, you lose the copyright if you don't enforce it. So I finally have a working analogy that actually makes sense. Because remember, because part of that whole SKG thing is like they're specifically saying we don't want the copyright or the intellectual property, but the publishers and the developers who are fighting against it are rightly saying they'll lose access to it. And I remember you were very, very confused about that. So if anybody else was confused, here's your lesson. So imagine you make a song. It's a fun song. You make it, you throw it up on a sound platform that everybody enjoys. People start making, videos or whatever else, like derivative works with it because they're having fun. And you're like, you know what? These are kind of cool. I don't care. I'm not going to go after anybody. You don't explicitly say anything that you can or can't do anything with it, but you don't stop people, right? So you're watching people make videos and they're monetizing them, and you're like, yeah, sure, it's not a big deal. I don't really mind. And it gets really, really popular. But then one day, after say a few years of not enforcing your copyright and letting so many people make so many works with your music, Paramount comes by and says, I'm going to make a movie. It's going to be a Mission Impossible movie, and we're going to use your song because you know what? You didn't stop anybody beforehand. So now you're sitting there going, well, that's my song. Why would you do that? Like, you owe me money. So you take them to court and you're like, hey, judge, these people took my song. I own the copyright to it because it's my song. I want to get paid. The judge will take one look at you and say, why didn't you enforce it until now? And that's what they mean by losing copyright or losing access to it and it entering the public domain. Because if they don't enforce it at all times as litigiously, which means like to sue all the time, as the mouse does, you run the risk of someone profiting millions upon millions of dollars off of it. And because you never enforced it before, now the courts are going to sit there and say, well, you didn't take an interest before this $300 million grossing movie came out. What makes you think you should get full compensation now?
Yeah,
and that's the big thing. Yeah. And that's the thing that a lot of people don't realize. And it's fine that you don't want to kill games. You want them to be around forever and ever and ever. But that's the part of the argument nobody has thought about is, it goes back to like the Call of Duty, like I said, if you're not, exercising your rights over the Call of Duty franchise and you're letting people make all kinds of clones or machinimas or whatever else, at what point in time are you allowed to make a claim? And then what kind of compensation will you get? If I make a movie that grosses $1 billion a la Avatar, and it uses, say, Team Fortress 2 assets, and we'll say Valve was not nice and they didn't let anybody do this, but they never stopped me. The courts will sit there and say, well, Valve, you didn't at any point in time stop anybody else from doing this. That's on you, and we're going to give you like $6.
Well,
and that's really the risk.
So here's my take on this and what you said. I totally agree with what you say in that particular instance. Like some of the machinima example, we start getting to creative space and transformative works that ends up being a little gray area depending on what country you're in. But let's think about this. Every game that we currently have out right now, has some sort of terms of service or end user licensing agreement, and it's all spelled out exactly what you can and can't do with this software. And if you breach any of this, right, we also know for a fact that the companies will come after you and be like, you can't do this. It's spelled out. You agreed to it. Right. Now come join my humanized centipede. Right. Like that's just how it goes on. Now we're talking about copyright stuff and the loss of rights over it. All of that stuff is spelled out. And the entities that we're also working with aren't dying anytime soon. Let's say for example, Anthem was a great game. It's come to its end of life. Right. And EA's like, we're not going to do this, but should you decide to want to run around in the world and whatnot, here is a loopback server thing, so that way you can continue to play the game in solo mode, or if, at the most extreme, produce isolated shard servers that they could totally use if they programmed Anthem to run that way without all the authentication, other bullshit that goes on, right? They would have to like completely re-architect the thing in a realistic sense, but let's just say it was built in. If the terms of use or the end user license agreement spells out exactly what you can and can't do and has the end of life plan in there, and if anything happens to the software and these entities, such as EA or any of the other major publishers or development platforms, they could totally enforce it. And it would be upon them to enforce that if breach of those particular terms are set. Right? So it's not that they can't. They have to choose to. Just like you said, if you choose not to and you come back later like, oh, what are you doing? You can't do that? Like, I remember all throughout 2010 to 2020, like, there was like some ironclad crazy crap in the EULAs with regards to streaming your content. Like, you can't do this, or it's not allowed in any form. But
Laughs in a few games that actually strictly prohibited you from streaming their content.
Exactly that. I mean, then of course you've got like, other stuff that has like multi-copyrighted things in there, like Grand Theft Auto, like that's multi-license breach or whatever, which makes it important to understand the rights and license your stuff appropriately before anything like that comes through. So, in your argument for why copyright is important, I absolutely agree. But I also know that this also has to be spelled out and enforced by the entities that currently own those rights. Right. And it has to be spelled out by their lawyers and the terms of use, and has to be readily apparent at any given point, even though you'll just like grab the scroll bar, so go all the way to the bottom, click I accept, just because you want to play the game and kill some monsters. Right. And that's and I think that it's all about transparency and what you can and can't do, even if it's buried in a EULA somewhere, is what's going to make all the difference in the world in it making this happen. Yes, if it's not done properly or not implemented properly at all, there's going to be a lot of folks out there who's going to be hurting really bad, right, for any new title that is currently not released or in 1.0. I don't know how it's going to affect stuff that is currently in alpha, beta, or early access, or green light, or whatever buzzword you want to use right now for whatever platform you're currently distributing on. But you're not wrong. It is up to the companies to make sure that, regardless of what happens at the end of life, that things aren't happening. I mean, could you agree with that?
That gets into a whole area of copyright law I'm not entirely familiar with, so I will refrain from answering.
Yeah, this is all speculative,
I
right?
need to make friends with copyright lawyers and intellectual property lawyers to answer your questions, because this gets way into the weeds of things I don't know how to articulate and explain. And yeah.
Oh, this is also like, it spans just our individual countries' laws and limitations. This is like, across wherever your game is being distributed.
Exactly. And that's what makes it more complicated, right? So I like I said earlier, like last show, I agree with the concept, the way they were wording it. Because you got to remember, politicians, they don't know what you're asking, and they'll just write down what you asked as what you're wanting in a law. So if you're ever writing a proposal to government, you have to write it the way you want to see it implemented in law if it has to turn into a law, because you can't trust politicians to get it right. And it's just the way they word it leads it to be easily just not quite copy pasted into law, but close enough that it would be horribly implemented.
Just in case this is ever heard by anyone, I would like to put Matt Pat and his lobbying team on the forefront of that to make sure everything's fair.
That's just a theory, a political theory. Thanks for voting.
Yeah, no, like this is like the natural evolution of game theory. This is politics theory. This is going to be great, and people are going to be tuning in more than ever to this stuff to watch the magic happen. I can't wait.
So I have an unrelated dumb question. Rainer, are you going to be playing the new Pokemon stuff that comes out?
I have to answer that seriously.
I mean, if you want to, you don't have to be serious. But I'm like legitimately curious because I know you do like it a little bit.
I think I would prefer a lobotomy.
Do you stick with Palworld instead?
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
It's the only game where I can catch a like an enemy, like kind of like Team Rocket, and a Pokeball, and force them to do my bidding, like the current state of affairs.
Or shoot them out of a rocket at people.
Or butcher them for meat. Yeah, no, it's great.
Or I haven't butchered them yet. I have to figure out how to butcher. But also I need to like figure. I already was talking with Grok about what I potentially will be doing tomorrow for a D&D session, which I think I
Oh
know.
God, yes. You should tell them what happened last week.
By the way, we are in our round table portion of the show, so let's go.
There we go. Tell them what you did last week, sweetheart. What did you do?
I joined the campaign. I was like, hello. And I was being transported inside of Ime's little robot dude called Get Fucked.
He's a general eradication technician, flamethrowing unit of consecration technology. You can call me Get Fucked.
So they were getting in trouble.
I like it.
So they were getting in trouble, da-da-da-da-da. Then a bunch of humans sounded the alarm that they were here. And here I am just vibing inside of Get Fucked. And I'm just like, huh. So my little raccoon character just starts echoing her voice and somehow became a cult leader to a majority of the humans. And with the help of my party, we struck fear into the non-believers, and now I have to weave something up to actually get them on board with the more hijinks, which I'm thinking about as I was thinking with Grok of having cookies to give to the ones that are kind of doubting and have them go into
Come
a
to the dark
bout.
side. We have cookies.
No, just send them into mass hysteria.
So her whole thing started because 2 campaign sessions ago, Get Fucked decided he was going to be helpful. Now, his version of helpful is usually to stand there, look at you bleeding, and say, "You are bleeding. Did you know that losing blood is bad for you?" He's that kind of helpful. He's really dumb. He tries hard, but he's dumb. So he saw someone or heard someone yelling out for help, and immediately started screaming out, "I am here to help." But he was doing it like as a siren sound. Says, "I am here to help. I am here to help. I am here to help." As he's running through this like city, narrow roads and everything else. And our GM said, "Hey, Get Fucked, I need you to do me a favor and do a dexterity save." And I said, "Oh, this will be hilarious." So of course I fail it. I smashed into the lemon cart. Because of course there's a fruit cart nearby. So I smash into that.
Specifically
There's
a lemon one?
person. What's that?
Specifically a lemon one?
I think it was a lemon cart. It may have been a potato or watermelon cart. It was like a cart of fruit. But I smashed into it because I couldn't, move around it in time because, robot. Got over to the person who was the same person whose cart I smashed was the same person asking for help. And it turns out they had just been robbed. So they said, "What are you doing? Go after them," and then point me in the direction of the person who was the thief. And immediately my eyes turned from their natural whatever color. I think they're red normally. They started flashing red and blue alternately. And then I started yelling out "wee woo." as I'm running down the streets after this person, because of course I am now a cop car. Yep. Chase them into the sewers, and I end up blindly on this scaffold way above the sewer. There's some people across the shit sewer that we're supposed to fight. We end up just saying, "Oh, are you guys hungry? You want some food?" Because I did a Medicaid check and they looked like they were just malnourished but not actually injured. So of course I say this out loud, like, "Oh, these people appear to have not eaten. They should probably eat." Because, I'm helpful. That prompts them to not fight us, thus driving my GM insane because they had this nice fight plotted out for us that I ruined. Fast forward, we find out that we need to go rescue the king. We get out front of the palace. There's 2 guards. Initially, one of them looks really tired and annoyed. The other one looks like he's got a couple scars. So Get Fucked runs his mouth of, "You look tired. Sleeping is good for you." The dude who looked tired is about to stab him when the raccoon who had been occupying space to my chest basically, I don't remember if you said exactly like, "Fear me, mortal," or some such nonsense.
You shall not harm these group of travelers.
Yeah, that's what she says. Scares the absolute bejesus out of these people. And there was a couple that saved their intimidation rolls. And then, of course, we just shunned the non-believers. Like, it was absolute madness. And she did such a good job breaking our GM. It's one of the best sessions I've ever played of D&D.
He was like, "I had another fight, and we had people coming. Like, you rung the bell. There are people coming from across the town, and now you have a cult."
Yep.
That's awesome.
Yep.
There's nothing about that I didn't like.
So here's a tip for all of you young GMs out there. Never write a narrative. Never, ever write a narrative for your campaign, because your team will turn into either murder hobos or psychotic miscreants who start their own cults. So what you should be doing is have an overall theme and then just play yes and, which is the best way of playing improv. It's the only way to play improv. Take something, yes, this happened, and whatever else is going to happen next. It will save you decades of headache if you play yes and don't actually have a full narrative and different fight sequences you want to have. Just have a general idea of what you want them to accomplish, and let the dice and the psychoticness pick the rest.
No, give them just a basic guideline of the direction and just let them murder hobos run.
Well,
Yeah,
and that's what
it was funny because when they actually some rolled through my my charade, whoever kind of passed the what is it, the check or whatever, they got hit with fear. So their resolve is a little bit on the low side, and then I'll offer them some freshly baked magical cookies somehow, scrunch crafted, and then
Well,
send them.
Scrunchcraft doesn't work in our campaign. It works in a different one, but I'm sure we can think of something.
Well, it's part of my character trait.
Maybe I've got cookies in my chest somewhere that you snuck in there.
Yes, because
course,
robots
I'm a
have
raccoon.
utility for cookies. Do you want to feel better? I hear cookies make you feel better. Do you like chocolate chip? So.
Yeah, ooh, I want chocolate chip cookies.
You may have one of the forbidden cookies.
Yes,
It's forbidden because it's like 99% THC.
It's okay.
No.
I have a built-in raccoon distribution system. Perfectly sanitary.
Which one would you like, cookies or rabies?
Oh, no.
Cajun, I have questions for you.
Dealer's choice.
I have questions
What's up,
for
sir?
you. I know that we have a lot of growth to happen as far as like what's going on with Z-A or Pokemon Z-A, and we've kind of have a working history with going shiny hunting and things like that. Assuming that it is released for the Switch 1, because I refuse to buy a Switch 2, and I refuse to ask you to borrow your son's Switch 2 to play Z-A, right? do you have any plans on doing shiny hunting or playing any of that on stream?
I can give you a solid maybe.
Yeah, I've got a solid maybe too, and it's mine is completely contingent on what your plans are, because there's no way I'm going to play that game by myself.
Because they originally said that they were going to release it on both. That was the original plan. If they do still offer a Switch One version, I'd be more inclined to buy it, because I'm not fighting Harrison for a Switch. Not gonna happen.
Well, they did that with Twilight Princess. I know they had like a GameCube version and a Wii version. And of course, the Wii version was far superior than the GameCube version, and I think the GameCube version was actually mirrored. So, like, where you would take a left somewhere, you would actually go right instead. So it might be one of those situations. But that was years ago. I don't know what they'll do. That Nintendo hasn't been really good about backporting. So we'll have to keep our we'll have to keep our things right now. Nintendo's probably trying to keep the pants on from the public spectacle that is their Palworld stuff. So or not the Palworld stuff. I'm sorry, the public spectacle that is the bricking of the current Switch 2s. And I don't. Like that's just a risk that I'm not willing to take. The moment I heard they're able to do that, and with Brazil, actively being like, I have to go to California to do this, or Washington, or wherever, or whatever court system they decided to like mediate at in order to yeah. So
I am really, really looking forward to finding out what happens with that investigation. I hope Brazilian lawmakers look at it for what it is, and which is a giant scam are being done to benefit the company. Because that's all binding arbitration is. It's a benefit to the company, because they don't have to worry about pesky evidence, disclosure, or anything else. They just have to say, oh, you want to talk to me about something? Well, come meet me at the arbitrator of my choice. And I don't care what country you're in. And I don't care if it costs you 3 arms and a kidney.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. So I'm on the fence about it too, Cajun. We're gonna have to see what happens between now and then. So
it's like I said, just not just meh right now. Like I said, things change.
Well, whatever it is, the moment you decide, yeah, let's do this, just let me know at least a couple weeks ahead of time, so that way I can make sure I'm ready for it.
Sounds good.
Yeah,
we'll do.
In the vein of D&D, I actually have a different project going on that I'm kind of poking around with. Believe it or not, going back to what we were talking about in the pre-show, I'm actually using a local large language model called Mistral 7B. And what I did was I created a chat window reminiscent of who remembers Yahoo Chat?
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Oh no.
So get
who
this.
Remembers ICQ?
I also remember eyeball chat. I wish to forget that.
I am an old fucker, and I don't have time to sit down for any length of time to actually play these games, and I love tabletop role-playing games.
I need my prune juice.
Yeah, pretty much. So I was sitting there thinking, well, how could we turn this into a single-player dynamic type thing without having to code it all on your own? And I'm like, okay, well, what happens if we put AI in control? So I come up with this architecture where the LLM would take the role of not only the DM and 3 players, but it would also take the role of rules lawyer.
Oh no, that's my job.
Aptly named the architect. And this is on top of not confining it to any specific system, but to make up the system as on the fly. So yeah, so there's no set world, there's no lore, it makes it up as it goes along. So you could come up to it and be like, I would like to run in a cyberpunk magic fantasy thing. It's like, got you, bro, hold on, let me summon the GM. It will then create the GM persona and then communicate with the GM to figure out how to do it and record it locally. That's the plan, because LLM memory is weird and you have to work with it in a specific way. This is on top of I'm trying to figure out how to make it accessible, because it is not something that would ever be retail for me. It would be something I would throw up on like my GitHub. Be like, if you want to play this and you want to play it effectively, you have to go install these things and make it work. My current testing right now has 2 characters of diametrically opposing opinions located in the system prompt, along with a mediator one called the director. And the moment that they've come into agreement with each other, it'll stop and summarize the discussion so far. It's like, yes, these two things. And it's been an interesting journey so far, so I'm kind of curious if I could create a self-playing campaign game and it make its own adventures and things like that. I would also like to see things like, well, what happens if you want to be the DM and run a campaign with 4 AI players, right? So that's been my experiment for the last 2 weeks to see what I can get out of it, and I like what's coming out of it, and I've shared some of it with Cajun, and he's like, I'm here for it, so we'll see. So that's what I've got going on, at least for the foreseeable future, is poking at that and exploring more with AI. As I know that we have talked vehemently about AI theft and things like that, but I'm also looking at these models that are completely sourced on the public domain with permission, like Mistral 7B, that fall under the Apache licensing agreement, which can be included in just about everything from CC all the way to, MIT and Apache itself. So it's going to be interesting. I've been reading a lot into what licensing software actually has. Which, by the way, if I have questions, I might be like, hey, this.
Can you read this license agreement and tell me if I'm selling my soul? Yes, you are.
Pretty much. It's not an easy setup because you have to install CUDA separately. You have to have a different medium to actually submit things to the large language model. It's not an easy thing. So it's not for, let's say Cajun's mom to go and play it. It's going to take work.
All right. I like license agreements. They're funny.
So yeah, no. As soon as I have something viable, I'll let you guys know, and you can poke at it and be like, yeah, this. It's not going to be like any campaign you'll ever play because it's not adhering to anything you've ever played. That's the goal. So that's it. Cajun, what you got going? It sounds like you've been working quite a bit.
Oh yeah, it's been nuts. Things.
Moment of silence for Cajun. Things. I bet you his internet blipped out. He's probably talking right now.
I am? Huh? What happened?
There you go. You're back. Okay.
I said I'm a tired Cajun.
There you go. Yeah. Cajun's going to be tired, Cajun. So.
Yep. I'm tired.
Fair enough. But yeah, there you go. Episode 104 in the books. 36 months, at least according to Imy's subscription counter. So that's 3 years of podcasting as an affiliate. So go us. And, yep. And we'll see you next time for episode 105. Hopefully next week, depending on what's going on. Because it seems like all of us have a lot of stuff cooking on in our personal lives as we get closer.
Still slapping people to death.
I'm going to be entering my first term of college. Yeah.
That's huge. Yeah. Congratulations.
That is. I'm very proud of her.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still waffling though, honestly. I was just like, do I really want to be comms? Do I want to be comms?
Yeah, the beautiful part about this is that you're never ever set in stone unless you actually take the program, and even still, that's not set in stone. If you want to change programs, you've got it because a lot of the prerequisites you currently will take, like all the history and math and whatnot, will transfer to whatever it is you decide to do. So you could go into comms and be like, you know what? I really like computer science. Let's go do that. And then if you don't like this, you know what? I really like psychology. Let's go do that. And you could become,
She has an aversion to math like I do.
So
I can count to crayon like the worst of everyone. But that's as far as I get.
I was thinking about IT because they have the accelerated stuff that my job would actually pay for. But the thing is, I'm afraid of it because they go into Python. And my friend, well, actually, my coworker was talking about Python, and she's like, I'm trying to do it. I'm trying to chug through it, but I don't understand it. I'm trying to understand it, and I can't. I'm like, oh.
Well, if you decide to go that route, guess who programs in Python?
You have a tutor.
I have this running joke at work where somebody will be like, oh man, it's in Python, and I'll pop into the team chat. Did somebody say Python? And I get nothing but laugh emojis. It's great. So
I have been summoned.
Pretty much, because everybody I work with is pretty much .NET 100%, and I'm sitting there going, hey, open source, let's go. So,
Oh, so that means you could actually help me with spreadsheets too. Yay!
Yeah.
I'm not good
Yeah,
with
he
Excel.
can do spreadsheets. I hate them. So the only thing that is of any use that I've ever done in Excel is I made a spreadsheet that I had a sheet for like a master sheet, and then a sheet for every single person in my shop with their coffee order. And all I had to do on the master sheet was put an X beside your name, and then it would have on the final tab just a printout that I could hand to the people working at the Tim Hortons and be like, I want this. And it was all Tim Hortons short form. So they would look at it and know exactly what I was talking about. And I would just hand it to them and they'd be like, oh, hey, this works. This is awesome.
Yeah.
But like, if you wanted a large double, it would just say like 1 times LDD. And they would know exactly what the hell that is.
On my side, I work with SQL, and SQL is pretty much super Excel, except there's no GUI, and it's all code. So if you want like application to data layer communication and how everything works, I got you covered. Like, I probably won't be able to do Excel, but I could probably overcomplicate things by being able to store like your entire organization's worth of orders to be delivered via an API to whatever business you want, but that's about it. So, all right. I think this is the end of the show. We've kind of gone off the rails here. So, we'll see you next time for episode 105. So long, everyone. And if you're still here, hang out. We're going to go raid someone.
I just got called a space cop.
Well, it's because you are the law.
That makes me, I am the law.
All right.
Don't forget.
It's ridiculously hilarious.
Oh, that's right.
Yes,
We got to do all that. Be awesome, stay classy, and remember, come on, Cajun and Crit.
Don't be a dick. Dick.
Dick. All right. Dick. Stop recording.